Day 6 of the Quarantine Reviews. Edmund accepts an invitation to Apocalypse and Chill with Delain.
So welcome once again to the Quarantine Reviews, this time covering an album I meant to go over last month, but as a consequence of life getting in the way and just Patreon reviews and all that sort of thing, I wasn't able to get around to it, so perfect opportunity. If you're unfamiliar with Delain, they're a symphonic metal band from the Netherlands who, in my humble opinion, are pretty awesome. They're in the vein of bands like Epica and Within Temptation, appropriate enough as one of the founding members was Martin Westerholt, who is the former keyboardist for Within Temptation. If you're a fan of Stephen King, you'll recognise the name Delain from The Eyes of the Dragon. Whilst this is still part of the mini-reviews, this one will be a bit longer for one very key reason. I had a horrible time picking just one favourite track, so you're going to get 4 favourites this time around. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first favourite track on the album is in fact the first song, 1 Second. Now that's got this really nice, cool siren song opening to it, backed by powerful piano chords that leads nicely into a low, powerful guitar work and exquisite vocals from Charlotte Vessels, the lead singer. And it eventually grows into the expected bombast that Delain is known for and really paints this excellent picture of lost, failed romance and the idea that all it takes is a second of idle thought to suddenly have all those feelings of love and adoration flood back, even despite, when you close your eyes, seeing the expression of that person in a very dark light. I'm not sure what it is about it that especially strikes a chord, other than pretty much my entire life. But there you go. So, my next favourite is the very next song, We Had Everything. Now that is a brutal, bitter dressing down of an ex-lover. That is you saying to this ex-lover, we had everything and you threw it all away for no clear reason. It's the musical equivalent of what every person who's ever been dumped for really stupid reasons wants to say to their ex. And I absolutely adore it for that. Some of the really cool things about it are how it brings the keyboard much more to the forefront, and I feel that helps to drive the message a bit more forward. And also there's a cool sort of rock opera style breakdown that, I mean, I've always been into rock opera, so that really worked nicely for me. Next favourite is Vengeance. Now that has a guest vocalist of Yannis Papadopoulos of Beast in Black. His vocals really work well as a counter to Charlotte Vessels. They feel like there's a really cool chemistry going on between the two, and it really helps to paint this picture of a love gone so wrong that it's going to be resolved in one of two ways. Either they are going to reconcile and get back together, or they're going to tear each other apart, literally. You can actually imagine it being used for a film based around that idea of them going from being lovers to mortal enemies. I can imagine sort of a sword fight going on between them, and it's... I want to see the movie that this song could be based around. What really helps with that idea is there is this constant build going on, and it really feels like there's just this ramping up of intensity through the instruments getting more intense, and thus the fight getting more ferocious and desperate. I just find it really cool, and filmmakers, hit up Delain, because I want to see the movie that could inspire this song. And last of the favourites is Ghost House Heart. That brings it down considerably, and perfectly so. It's focusing around the idea of how a particular location, in this case an old house, can hold the memories of a lost love, and how you can see the person in the various places in that house. And the instrumentation perfectly encapsulates that. The piano, and it's purely piano and violins going on, and it just works so well. Charlotte's vocals are just gorgeous on this song, and if I was to say there was a favourite of the favourites, it would be that. When I saw them perform it live, it was amazing. And if they did a full album that was this style, I would be all over that. They really have something going with this style.
There's a million things to see, but it's not for you and me.
Now, least favourite song on the album. Originally I thought it was going to be Let's Dance. The reason being there are a few lines that made me go, what does that mean?
Let's dance, like dancing in a fire.
But I couldn't in good conscience commit to that, because it still kept in the theme of the rest of the album, which is ostensibly a breakup / lost romance album. Now, the song that made me go, this doesn't fit, was Legions of the Lost. Because that is specifically decrying the ills of mainstream media and the misinformation divulged by it, and the adoration and glorification of celebrities and the rich. And it just... don't get me wrong, it's an awesome song. I really enjoy it. It changes up the style nicely, and there's a bit of an interesting manner of delivery that Charlotte takes, whilst still being entirely identifiable as Delain's work.
Stop, communication overkill. It's
it just doesn't fit with everything else on the album. It comes out completely out of left field. So I would argue that it would be better suited as a bonus track, or a track that would be exclusive to YouTube or something like that, or better saved for a later album. I mean, considering how many tracks are on this album, that wouldn't exactly be a problem. But as I say, not a bad song. It just feels out of place. Apocalypse and Chill really goes to showcase how Delain can play around with their sound and style whilst still maintaining their own identity. It's possibly their best album to date, and with the exception of that one song, I'd have to give it a 5 out of 5. If you're into symphonic metal, definitely give it a check out, and if you want to explore the genre a bit more, it would certainly be a good place to start. That's it for this episode. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully this'll all be over in a second.